The votes are in, and Tesla shareholders approving CEO Elon Musk's controversial $56 billion pay package. Musk taking the stage after the results and offering some characteristically optimistic goals for the EV maker.
It's within the realm of possibility for Tesla to achieve a valuation 10 times that of the most valuable company today. And if you just plot the points on the curve of how well autonomy is progressing and just believe the curve, it's headed towards unsupervised full self-driving very quickly at an exponential pace. It actually gets way crazier when you think about the Optimus robot, which is really a humanoid robot that is intended to be able to do anything you want it to do.
Joining us now is Kevin Paffrath, financial analyst and YouTuber Meet Kevin. Kevin, let me take it off here, right? We're going to have self-driving cars, robo-taxis, where we let Tesla navigate our cars around. We're going to have a robot that does everything for us, I guess, and the value of Tesla's going to be some, whatever trillions of dollars here. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a lot of hope built into that, but let's say, look, the shareholder vote now behind us is great news. It's a big negative catalyst away for Tesla, but you're right. Elon has grand visions that you won't have to drive anymore, which frankly, cars driving themselves in the long term probably going to be a lot safer for the entire world. They already are today on FSD, substantially safer. So I think it's a great thing. And we've seen a lot of progress in full self-driving. I question the exponential progress that Elon is talking about, this idea that, FSD is growing exponentially. It's growing, but what we know with artificial intelligence, which Jensen Huang showed us in one of their artificial intelligence presentations, was that the costs for artificial intelligence go up exponentially, but progress actually more S-curves and then peters out, so you get less progress with more costs. And so going forward, yeah, Elon's right. We are going towards an autonomous future, and it's so great to see shareholders reaffirm their trust in Elon. I just don't think it's going to happen as fast as he's suggesting, and I don't think it necessarily is going to be as large in the long term, but that's okay. We can be bullish on the stock in the next 2 to 4 years, as Tesla still has probably the best moat in full self-driving that exists. It's not as big as it used to be. I'd put it at about 18 to 24 months ahead of some of the competitors, what we're seeing out of BYD in China, Xpeng Motors, but we're definitely still ahead.
And Kevin, you did mention that pay package and it did get approved. And so I'm just curious, Kevin, is that what you expected? And as a shareholder, is that what you supported, Kevin?
Yeah, it is. So I did this little tax loss harvesting event for my fund, PP, the Pricing Power ETF, where we sold in mid-March and then bought back in at roughly the same price in mid-April, but we missed the vote deadline by 1 day. That said, I did make public that I was in favor of the vote passing and that I would vote for it if I could. Now, with this vote out of the way,
can I ask you, Kevin, how come? I mean, let me just get your take. Why, Kevin? Why did you support it?
Oh, absolutely. Well, so first of all, the deal was made in 2018, and it was very public. This was like a YOLO call option for Elon to go for this. Frankly, if that same deal was made today at those prices then, everybody would look at that as a shareholder and go, well, at least 70% like we had then. Of course we're going to support if you can move the market capitalization of this stock essentially exponentially. Of course we're going to support paying for you. So receiving that and then being frustrated about Elon in the short term, I don't think is fair. I think it hits on an element of justice, but we could really go into sort of a different world there. I don't think justice was served by what the Delaware judge conducted. That said, long term, we've got to look at Tesla as, this is how I value it. I don't look at it as a $30 to $50 trillion humanoid Optimus, program. Look, that's great. That's wonderful, sort of icing on the cake as a financial advisor and running a fund. I can't price that in. So what I do is I look at data. I look at Q2 data bottoming. Early sales data indicates that Q2 is not going to be as bad as feared. I think it's because of the financing. They finally realized that offering people a lower monthly payment just 0.99% APR in May, now they're at 1.99 in June, is a sign that people are payment sensitive, not necessarily price sensitive. And I think that's actually going to help skyrocket Tesla shares and form a bottom here in delivery numbers. And we already know that margins have bottomed. They're the only automotive company to have over 18% gross margins, excluding the Cybertruck, on vehicles, especially electric vehicles. Most companies lose money on these. So really what Elon's doing here is he's creating a bottoming process in the actual manufacturing of electric vehicles. At the same time, he's rehired back the charging team, which is great, most of them at least, and all of the other electric vehicle companies that I'm studying, Ford, GM, they're all scared. They're reducing their exposure to electric vehicles. Elon is creating a massive United States electric vehicle moat for Tesla and Tesla shareholders.
Kevin,
that said,
yeah,
one last thing quickly.
Sure.
If China were able to sell EVs here, I would not own Tesla. So you are relying on the government to protect you a bit.
Well, and when you're looking at how this company is valued, though, I mean, just to compare it to Toyota, just to give one example here, you look at the market cap of Tesla versus a Toyota, there is a big gap here. Tesla, a bigger market cap. The gap has been bigger in the past. The revenue Toyota, though, is not quite 3 times, but close to 3 times. The margins, to your point, at Tesla on an automotive basis are higher. But, if you're just looking, we always call it an EV maker, but if you're just valuing it even if you're just valuing it as an EV maker, it doesn't seem to account for how the market is valuing it. It has to deliver on all this stuff. And it doesn't seem to, can it be in 2026 or 27 or 29 or whenever this stuff that he's promising is actually going to happen?
Well, I like to look at sort of what do I think Tesla is going to deliver versus what Elon promises, because I think there's a large split between those. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the optimism in a CEO. I would expect that. And you're right, Toyota would have been a much better stock, frankly, to own for the last 3 years than Tesla. Tesla's just been on a straight downtrend, and it's very unfortunate. The difference between the two companies is growth. I value Tesla at a PEG ratio of 1.67, assuming we can get about 30% growth once we bottom out from here. Toyota's growing. In some years, it's projected to grow negatively, but more reasonably, it's growing somewhere between 5 to 6%, which is barely above the rate of inflation. So that's one of the reasons you see the valuation disparity. But it's also one of the reasons you've seen a lot more downside with Tesla, because we did have to go through a few negative growth periods. 24 is going to be the big one. Now, that said, here's how I think someone could hedge themselves. Obviously not personalized advice, but I think you can go short, and people get mad at me for saying this, but it's just a hedge. It's a macro hedge. You go short Bitcoin. You could use a fund like BITI. I'm not affiliated with them. It's a negative one. The reason for that is when risk assets sell off, Tesla goes down. Look at what's happening today. The French sovereign debt crisis, you've got risk assets selling off. When risk assets sell off, Bitcoin goes down as well. But look at Nvidia, it's up. So you don't want to short the whole market for a hedge, because that's not going to work. You specifically want an offsetting risk hedge. And I think Bitcoin is the perfect way to hedge your Tesla position.
Interesting. That's not one I've heard before.
No.
Sorry.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate the time. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You as well.